right, let's talk about something powerful, something real that affects us deeply, but that often goes unseen. You ever wonder why sometimes you feel stuck, held back by certain people or situations that seem almost engineered to frustrate you? These are the moments when it feels like life is testing you, stretching your limits, making you question everything. But what if I told you those frustrating moments, those people, especially those with narcissistic tendencies who try to pull you down, what if I told you those are the exact tools the universe uses to expose, to reveal, and ultimately to remove what doesn't serve you? That's right. I truly believe that there's a divine intelligence, something greater than all of us, that has a plan, a purpose, and a vision for our lives. And part of that purpose is revealing to us what we cannot see on our own. Narcissistic individuals, the ones who manipulate, who gaslight, who drain your energy without remorse, they're not just stumbling into your life by accident. They're there to serve a purpose, and their role in your journey, it's exposure. See, narcissists want control. They feed on it. They thrive on their ability to make you doubt yourself, to feel small, unworthy, to second guess your every move. But let me tell you, they're only as powerful as the illusion they create. And here's where divine exposure comes in. At the exact moment you're ready to see through the illusion, the truth comes to light. It doesn't happen before you're ready, because if you saw it too soon, you'd ignore it. You'd justify it. You'd say, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem, but the moment you're truly ready to break free, God, the universe, that higher power says, enough, it opens your eyes, exposes the truth, and shows you exactly who and what you're dealing with. And that exposure is a gift. Because in that moment, you see clearly, you see what's holding you back, what's weighing you down, and what no longer has any power over you. And it's in that moment that you get to choose. Do you keep allowing this influence, or do you take control, reclaim your life, and move toward the person you were always meant to be? Look, people with narcissistic tendencies want to be the center of your life, but they are never meant to be the center of your story. They are not the main characters. Their role is temporary, like the tough chapters in a book that set up the climax. And the beauty of divine exposure is that it makes you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It builds your character, your clarity, and your boundaries. So next time you feel that frustration, that drain, or that doubt creeping in, realize it's a signal. It's not there to break you, it's there to wake you. You're being given the gift of clarity, a chance to step into a new chapter of self-worth, confidence, and purpose. You've been called to step beyond them, not because you need to conquer them, but because their role in your life has already served its purpose. Walk forward knowing you are divinely protected, and trust that the universe exposes what's false so you can live in what's real. You are worthy, you are powerful, and you are loved. That's your truth. Let's dive into this. You know, we all have moments in life when it feels like we're being tested by people, by situations, by things that push us to the edge. And often the people testing us the most, the ones who seem almost tailor-made to frustrate us, are the ones with narcissistic tendencies. These individuals have a way of digging into our lives, into our emotions, manipulating the way we see ourselves, and creating an environment that feels draining, exhausting, and demoralizing. But here's the thing, they're not here by accident. There's a purpose behind their presence. Think about it. Why do these people show up at specific points in your life? Why does it feel like they've been almost custom designed to trigger your insecurities, to make you question your worth, to disrupt your peace? Because those are the exact things you need to see clearly, understand, and rise above. There's a saying, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, and that couldn't be more true here. The frustrations, the conflicts, and the difficulties these people create aren't happening to destroy you, they're happening to awaken something within you. They're here to expose the places in your life where you might be vulnerable, where you're still relying on external validation, where you're questioning your own strength and self-worth. Imagine for a moment that every interaction, every challenge with this person is a mirror being held up to you, showing you parts of yourself that need healing, boundaries that need strengthening, and resilience that needs building. It's as if the universe, or God, says, I see where you're strong, but I also see where you're still vulnerable. And I'm sending you this person, not to break you, but to help you realize just how powerful you are, and to teach you the importance of protecting that power. So when you feel that familiar frustration or tension with a narcissistic person, understand that it's part of a bigger purpose. You're being shown what no longer serves you. You're being shown what you need to release and rise above. And every time you encounter this, it's not a setback, it's an invitation to step up, to stand taller, to trust in yourself more fully, and to live with more awareness of what you deserve. All right, let's get real about the role of divine intelligence, that higher power, in our lives, especially when it comes to people who challenge us at our core. When we're dealing with narcissists or anyone who seems to have this knack for undermining our confidence and clouding our perspective, it can feel overwhelming, right? But here's what we often miss: their presence in our lives as purpose. These people don't just wander in by chance. There's a reason they're here, and it's not just to bring chaos. They're here to reveal truths that we can't see on our own. Think about it, life is filled with layers, and we don't always see things as they are. Sometimes we're so close to our own habits, patterns, or ways of thinking that we don't notice the areas where we're settling, where we're accepting less than we deserve, or where we're giving our power away. That's where divine intelligence steps in, and it often uses the most challenging people in our lives as the tools to help us grow. These difficult individuals, the ones who manipulate or drain us, they serve as a mirror, showing us what we need to change, what needs to be healed, and what needs to be left behind. This isn't about punishment or random suffering. It's about the universe, God saying, I want you to see clearly. I want you to wake up. And sometimes we need that jolt, that uncomfortable experience to shake us out of complacency, to push us to question what we're accepting and to start demanding more for ourselves. It's like the universe shines a spotlight on the things we've ignored or denied, things that are holding us back, so that we can finally see them for what they are. It's a process of revelation, and yes, it's tough. But once you understand that divine intelligence is behind this exposure, that it's happening for you and not to you, you start to see these people and situations differently. You start to understand that this is about learning, about growth, about stepping into a higher version of yourself. The universe, God, wants you to thrive, and part of thriving is understanding who and what is no longer aligned with your purpose. So next time you feel that familiar frustration with a person who's challenging your peace, recognize the gift of clarity you're being offered. You're not being shown these truths to be weighed down by them. You're being shown them to finally release them. Divine exposure is a gift, a way of clearing the path forward so that you can walk it with strength, confidence, and purpose. It's the universe, that higher power showing you what's real so you can build a life on that truth. Let's get honest about what narcissists do. They thrive on control. They have this need to be at the center, the top, the one in charge of how you feel, how you see yourself, even how you live your life. Narcissists love to play the game of making you doubt yourself, making you question your worth, all while they keep themselves on a pedestal. They're like magicians, creating illusions that can make us lose track of our own power, our own truth. But here's the kicker: they only hold power over us as long as we stay trapped in their illusion. Imagine a narcissist as someone weaving a web of lies, a web designed to keep you off balance, doubting yourself and looking to them for validation. That's their sweet spot. They crave that power dynamic where they're the one with the control and you're the one in need. And let me tell you, this isn't just a personality quirk. It's a deeply ingrained survival strategy for them. Narcissists have an empty space inside that they fill by pulling from others, by drawing on their energy, their confidence, their sense of self. They don't do it because they're strong. They do it because they're fragile, because they rely on keeping others small to feel big. And when you're dealing with someone like this, it's so easy to get caught up in their stories, to start doubting your own reality. They're master manipulators, and they know exactly which strings to pull to keep you questioning yourself. One day they'll lift you up, make you feel special, and the next they'll tear you down, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. This back and forth keeps you hooked, keeps you dependent on their approval, and if you're not careful, it becomes easy to lose sight of who you are outside of their influence. But here's the truth: the only power they truly hold is in creating that illusion. The moment you begin to see them clearly, to recognize their tactics, their control starts to crumble. And that's why divine exposure, that moment of clarity, is so powerful. It's like a fog lifting, allowing you to see them for who they really are and to reclaim the power you might have unknowingly handed over. Once you recognize the pattern, once you see the illusion, it's like stepping out of a dark room and into the light. They can't control you anymore because you no longer buy into their story, their version of reality. You realize that they're not the source of your worth, your happiness, or your strength. You are. And that's what scares a narcissist the most, a person who's no longer dependent on their validation. So understand this: they only have as much power over you as you allow. The moment you see through their game, The moment you reclaim your sense of self, they lose control. And that's when you can begin to set boundaries, to step away, to build a life that's based on your truth, not theirs. It's in this clarity, this divine exposure, that you finally see that they were never as strong as they seemed. Their power was always borrowed, and now it's time to take yours back. Let's talk about timing, divine timing. The way things unfold in our lives isn't random, and that includes when we start to see someone's true colors, especially when it comes to narcissistic people. It can feel confusing, right? Sometimes we don't realize someone's toxicity until we're in deep, until we've given so much of ourselves that we're questioning why we didn't see it sooner. But here's the truth: life reveals things to us exactly when we're ready to handle them. You see, divine intelligence doesn't just throw hard truths at you when you're not equipped to deal with them. It waits. It holds back, watching and waiting for that moment when you're strong enough, clear enough, ready enough to see things as they really are. Why? Because if you saw these things too soon, you might ignore them. You might dismiss the warning signs, brush off the manipulation, or even blame yourself, thinking maybe it's just me, maybe I'm overreacting. The universe, or God, knows this about us. It knows that when we're not ready, we have a tendency to rationalize away the truth, to make excuses, and to keep holding on to people and situations that don't serve us. That's why the revelation doesn't come until we're at a point where we can look it straight in the eye and actually do something about it. And then one day, almost like a switch flipping, you start to see the cracks. You see the lies, the manipulation, the patterns you once overlooked, and it all becomes so clear. That's not a coincidence, it's divine timing. It's God, the universe, saying, now you're ready. Now you have the strength, the insight, and the courage to face this truth. It's like you've been building up inner resilience, little by little, through every experience, every lesson, every lesson, every moment of self-reflection. And when you finally have enough of that inner strength, the truth is revealed. In that moment, it's powerful because you're no longer that person who would settle, who would stay small, who would accept manipulation or disrespect. You've grown. You've developed a clearer sense of who you are and what you deserve. And that's why you're ready to see things for what they are, because now you're equipped to take action. You're ready to set boundaries, to walk away if you need to, and to step into a life that's based on self-worth, on respect, on empowerment. So if you're in that moment, if you're seeing the truth now and wondering why you couldn't see it before, trust that it's happening now because you're finally ready. Divine timing is precise. It doesn't reveal things too soon, and it doesn't wait too long. It reveals them at the exact moment you're prepared to handle it, to confront it, and to grow from it. It's the universe saying, I see you, I believe in you, and I know you're strong enough to face this, to grow from this, and to create a better life on the other side of this. You have everything you need within you right now to face whatever truths are being revealed. Trust that this timing is perfect, that it's part of a bigger plan to lead you to a higher version of yourself. This isn't about tearing you down, it's about building you up, helping you rise stronger, and creating a life that's aligned with the real, authentic you. So step forward in that truth, knowing you are ready and capable. You've been prepared for this moment, and now it's time to live IT. Let's dig into what it means to have exposure as a gift. When the truth finally reveals itself, especially when it comes to someone who's been manipulating or controlling you, it's not just information you're receiving, it's freedom. Clarity is one of the most powerful gifts you can ever be given, because in that moment, you get to see what's real. You get to see exactly who a person is without the masks, without the illusions, without the games. And when you see them clearly, you get to reclaim your power. Think about what this clarity does for you. It breaks you free from the loop of self-doubt, from constantly second-guessing your feelings and wondering if you're imagining things. You stop asking, is it me? Am I overreacting? Or maybe if I change, things will get better instead. You start to see that this was never about you lacking something or doing something wrong. This is about seeing the reality of the situation. And that reality is that this person was never deserving of the power or control you may have given them. The exposure of truth, that's the moment you're no longer bound by their manipulation. You're no longer held hostage by their tactics. You're no longer under the illusion that they're the answer to your happiness or self-worth. Seeing them clearly is a gift because it means you can finally take control, make decisions, and set boundaries based on reality, not on the illusion they've created. And this gift of clarity doesn't just change your view of them, it changes your view of yourself. You realize just how much you've endured, how much strength it took to get to this point, and how much resilience you truly have. That's empowering. You're not the same person who felt lost, dependent, or unsure. You're someone who has been tested, who has seen the truth, and who now knows they have the power to choose a different path. Exposure lets you see what's weighing you down, what's keeping you stuck, and what you need to release. It's like having a light turned on in a dark room. Suddenly, everything makes sense. You see the toxic patterns, the cycles, and the ways in which you might have been settling or compromising yourself. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. It gives you the ability to take back control of your own story, to break away from people or situations that don't serve you, and to step forward with a new sense of freedom and purpose. This is your moment of awakening, your moment to recognize that this truth, no matter how hard it is to see, is a gift. It's the gift of being able to move forward with clarity, without the baggage, without the lies, and without the control. You get to live your life based on who you are, on what you want, and on the values you hold. And that is the greatest freedom there is. So embrace this truth. Embrace this exposure, because it's showing you exactly what you need to let go of and who you're ready to become. You've been given the gift of clarity, and now it's time to step into your power. Let's get real about the role these people play in our lives. Narcissistic people, those who manipulate, control, or drain us, they're not meant to be the central characters in our stories. Their role is temporary, almost like they're in the cast for a season to play a specific part, then they're meant to exit the stage. But here's what happens. They're so good at pulling us into their drama, at creating these intense highs and lows, that we start to feel like they're somehow essential to our story. We start believing that without them, we'd be missing something, as if they're the ones who make life interesting or exciting. But that's an illusion, and it's time to break free of it. Think of it this way, just because they've had a significant impact doesn't mean they're supposed to be a significant part of your life forever. They are like a tough chapter in a book necessary for growth, development, and learning, but not the main narrative. Narcissists come into our lives to teach us something specific, to reveal certain truths, and to test our ability to hold on to our power. They show us what happens when we ignore our boundaries, when we prioritize someone else's needs and opinions above our own, and when we let go of our worth just to keep the peace. Their purpose is to challenge us, to show us exactly what we don't want so we can move forward with clarity about what we do want. When you understand this, you start to see their role differently. You stop feeling like you need to fix them or save them or make them change. Instead, you realize that they've played their part. They've exposed the patterns, the insecurities, the unresolved issues within you that needed healing. They've done their job. And now it's time for you to take back the story, to write the next chapter with a new focus on yourself, on your growth, and on your peace. These people aren't the heroes or heroines of your story you are. They're not meant to take up more space than they already have. Their impact, their influence, it's temporary. And once you see them for what they are, once you understand that they were never supposed to be the central focus, you can let go. You can release them without guilt, without regret, and without the need for closure, because the closure comes from understanding their role and knowing that they've served it. So the next time you find yourself feeling stuck on someone who drains you or who tries to hold you back, remember their part in your life was never meant to be forever. They were here to teach you, to expose things within you, and to help you realize what you truly deserve. And now that you see the truth, you can move on, step into a new chapter, and let them be a memory, a stepping stone on your path to a life filled with real joy, genuine connection, and inner peace. You are the main character in this story. This is your journey, and they were only ever meant to be a brief part of it. Let them go and walk forward with confidence, knowing that the best chapters are the ones you're about to create, free from their influence and centered on your truth, your happiness, and your vision for the future. Let's talk about resilience and self-worth. You see, the journey through narcissistic relationships isn't easy, and it tests you in ways you never thought possible. It can shake your foundation, make you question your own reality, and push you to your limits. But here's the thing, every single moment you've endured has built something powerful within you. Going through this, seeing the truth, and coming out the other side isn't just survival, it's transformation. Narcissists have a way of making you question yourself, of making you feel like you're always falling short. But guess what? The very fact that you're here now, seeing through the illusions, means that you're stronger than their manipulation. You're stronger than their control, and you're stronger than the self-doubt they tried to plant within you. That resilience, that strength is something they could never take from you, no matter how hard they tried. And through it all, you've also built a rock-solid sense of self-worth, because at some point you reached a turning point where you realized, I deserve better, I am worthy of more. You learned maybe the hard way that love isn't supposed to hurt, that respect isn't something you have to fight for, and that peace isn't negotiable. You now carry that knowledge with you, and that's priceless. Now let's dive into one of the most powerful realizations of all. The understanding that true healing is a journey, not a destination. When you come out of a relationship with a narcissist or any toxic person, it can feel like you're carrying scars that are too deep to heal, wounds that have shaken you to your core. But here's the truth: healing isn't about erasing the pain or forgetting what happened. It's about transforming that pain into strength, wisdom, and purpose. Healing starts with acceptance. It's about looking at what you went through, acknowledging the hurt, the manipulation, the loss of self, and making a conscious decision that this experience will not define you. You see, narcissists try to trap you in a cycle of dependence, but once you've broken free, you realize that the cycle can only continue if you let it. Healing is stepping away from that trap, one day at a time, with intention and purpose. It's reclaiming the parts of yourself that were suppressed, silenced, or lost, and it's giving yourself permission to feel whole again. As we wrap up this journey of understanding, remember this: God doesn't expose narcissists to break you, He exposes them to free you. He reveals the truth not to crush your spirit, but to awaken you to your power, to show you your worth, and to help you reclaim what was always yours. The exposure is not a punishment, it's an invitation to rise higher, to step into a version of yourself that is unstoppable, unshakable, and fully aligned with your purpose. The narcissist's illusion only has power as long as you're willing to live in their shadow. But the moment you see them clearly, you take back your light, you take back your truth, and you begin to build a life that's defined by your values, your boundaries, and your inner strength. This is your story. You are the hero. And no one, no manipulation, no deception can ever take that away from you.